Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another ES Futures trading stream. Today is Wednesday, October 20, 22nd. It is 9:31, 9:32 a.m. Eastern Time in the US. We had I made a mistake yesterday. I thought we had Netflix yesterday, today. Just after I ended the stream, I realized it was today. I mean, it was yesterday. I started to watch. I started to watch the market. What was how it was reacting to Netflix, which missed the mark due to some legal things that are going on in Brazil, and the stock just created. It just fell hard. We have this huge breaking Netflix. Let's check it out. This is Netflix here. Okay, before let me do while I'm doing this, notice that we have a inside day. So Nasdaq is opening, even though the big break we have in Netflix, the market opening inside yesterday's range. Same goes for the ES. And the interesting thing about Netflix was it fell hard, right? It fell hard. It filled the gap, filled the lower gap in the daily. In the daily time frame, you have two gaps, right? You have two gaps. It filled the gap in the lower side. Now Nasdaq is taking this market, this inside bar. Notice how this inside bar is breaking to the downside. Let's see if this market takes this one and can complete its intentions and close the gap. What I have noticed, what worries me, is that no other tech, right, has trading sympathy with Nasdaq. Not even Tesla, right? And we were talking about this yesterday. Nasdaq, notice where this market is, right? We were doing some. Well, I was doing some. For me, Netflix was a toss. Right? It could go either way here. You have a range here. You can attempt to reach these highs, or the lower side we have these two gaps, right? And it's closing these gaps and closing it with another gap. And coming into today, I am actually leaning to I am leaning to the long side here. But again, I'm not, just because I see something doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to do something just based on some patterns, on some charts, right? I need to see something. I need to see a setup. I need to see an opportunity. I need to assess risk. I need to assess rewards before entering into a position. With the first observation that I have, as I say, is that no other tech is trading sympathy. Now Tesla, if I check Tesla, which reports, I believe, Tesla reports today. Tesla has really had good, in my opinion, higher probabilities to trade to the downside. All right, that is what I think. Based on the charts, right? Netflix was a toss, like 50-50, but I think Tesla has higher probabilities to trade to the downside. And it seems, right, that the numbers are lying because you know, you are hearing all this chat that is going on with the economy, with Tesla missing the marathon, selling, and all that stuff. You will find good reasons. If you are long, you will find good reasons for the long case and the short case as well. And that is important to remain for me at least. It's important to remain neutral so I can absorb the information that the market is giving me. Now, if I form an opinion and if I do something, if the market proves me wrong, I have no shame in changing my opinion right away. Okay. Volume in Tesla has been declining too. Notice this huge opening in volume. This huge opening that we have here. Right? Notice the volume we have in Netflix. Huge day to the downside here. Extremely high volume, huge day to the downside, higher than this one. Right? This is 750 million, so whatever. I don't care about the number. Actually, just how high it is in a day to the downside. Okay. This could be a good place, and it actually is breaking below this low here, breaking below this low. It still has some room to the downside all the way down to here before it can find support. But if this market, if Netflix closes, this little range that you have here, the little space, if you want, this little space that you have here, this one here, that one, this area, they're good also. The market can start building value below here, right? This will be like a bigger change in Tesla. I mean in Netflix, right? Closing this and trading sideways in this area here. That will be a change for this market. This in the weekly time frame is what Tesla is reflecting in the daily time. You have Tesla here, and that is what you observe. Well, at least what you observe here in the daily. Actually, it's the weekly as well, but mostly in the daily. But my point of view is to the upside here, at least in the short term. All right, I'm leaning long here in this market. Now, this can be very careful here. This can be look below and failure. All right. That will target this opposite side. From yesterday, I have something. Come on, man. Okay, it's accumulation on the lower side. We have volume. Let's close this thing and start observing. 15 minutes. We may have a similar volume to yesterday. Okay, it is finding support here. It is finding support. It still hasn't checked the all-time high. Settle, well, it settles 73.25. This is yesterday's. Right there. Let's check how the if there is indices. How the indices. Russell is inside. The Dow is inside. Nasdaq has taken is coming back potentially upside in Nasdaq and the ES is inside. Man, this one has retraced really significant amount of the range here. Kind of like a 60% retracement here. The market is holding. There's tremendous. The structure is terrible, but it doesn't mean anything, man. The market just remember, trade what you have in front. Trade the market that you have in front of you. I try to be neutral all the time, but today I was actually leaning to the upside based on just what I have said. You know, opening inside, the closer the market opens to the center of the range, the higher they also chop. Oh, from yesterday, one of the things that I have noticed, the action in M was not completed for either side, not to the downside, not to the upside. This one now has been completed, okay? Now we have completed. Let's see. Man, that's another reason I am looking to the upside here. Well, I need to have patience here. No, most of this market has been most of this has been very short time frame trading here. Very short time frame trading. It looks like if the shutdown has any resolution anytime soon, there will be something to the upside. That will be positive. But also we have these earnings in the way, right? Still. Notice how much Nasdaq has retraced. That's a significant retracement in Nasdaq. You know, almost all of the decline that it has had has been taken back. This high is no good. Overnight POC. Now it's grinding is way higher. It is grinding is way higher. And if it seems like this market has not gone high enough, it has not gone high enough to attract sellers. Yesterday I was checking these calls after the closing. No, my bad. I was checking these ones kind of like around midnight. These were $5. I mean 5 points, 4.6, something like that. And the market was where it is right now, a little bit higher. VIX is decreasing fast. We have 18 now, 18.5. Before, I mean, right now, as I say, FOMO can, really damage FOMO can hurt us really bad. The lack of patience as well can be devastating here. It has some signs, right, of a strength, but it is just, but it's like, I don't know how to describe this, right? I don't see a thing. I got this feeling, but I don't see it. I have, for example, this is just for me. This area here, what is this? The 66, 67, 66. This area looks like support. This for me is support, and has also another meaning because this is the high. This is the high of the 5-day range. It is acting as support, right? It is acting as support right now. The market goes through. It didn't find sellers here. It didn't buy buyers above this range. Tries again. It didn't buy. It didn't find buyers. All right. Now it's testing it back. You notice that each time it goes, the penetration of this range is lower and lower. This may be seen also as a sign of strength that, this support is holding, right? This support is holding, But when you look this, another way to look is, this is just, if there was a strength in this market, if this was real strength, this area here would have been taken and right away it would have challenged the all-time high. Now we are breaking out of this range, we are breaking out with a gap, but this significant reference, the all-time high, is not being challenged because there is a lot of stops here. There's a lot of stops here above, up here. It is not just one high that has significant excess. There's a bunch of stops in this area, and it's not being challenged. You just don't find the buyers here for continuation. But again, it seems like the market has not gone high enough yet to find sellers. The job of the market, the market has one job, mainly, to find an area where two-way trade can take place. That area has not been found here, really. I am thinking also that this market needs more information, right? There's a lot of things that are here. Next week we have I think we have the rest of the market. The rest of big tech we have it for next week. What do we have? Yeah, the 29th. Yes, that's the next week. Oh, we have Apple. We also have Google. We have Amazon. We have Microsoft. Gosh, man, everything else is on. We have Meta. Everything else. The next week is going to be packed with tech, with big tech here. Now we have check your earnings. The dates that I gave you about earnings, I got it from here. But if you have something more precise, for that I use earning whispers. These guys publish, have this calendar that they put. Now you can check here the exact date, right? After the close, Wednesday after the close. This is what I check up after I was done with the stream. Netflix. Oh, what the heck is this? I was wrong, right? It wasn't for tomorrow. Tomorrow we have Tesla and nothing else, right? They publish this calendar. I think on Saturday or Sunday, but it's very useful. This is what I check. It's going to be packed, man. Packed, really. Notice where the seller was yesterday relative to the previous day. Nasdaq, ES also same seller, basically same seller. For practical purposes, I could very well, I could very well just use these 2 days here, right? And you can see it's significant. This one here is really, this can be of relevance. This reference can be of relevance. Really, this one here. For ES. POC is up here. What it is? Same volume, TPO profile has the same POC as volume profile. How much is that? 78, What is 78? 78 is up here, right where the opening is. Okay. This is interesting, right? Remember this chart? This daily profile that I have here? This is where the volume POC, huge accumulation of volume around this 78, call it the 80. Overnight inventory is fairly balanced. There was nothing like relevant or of significant out there. Nvidia is shooting its way higher, really. Nvidia, some Tesla is back and forth. Nvidia, Microsoft are really high. The rest are neutral, with the exception of Tesla that has a tremendous chop. Look at this. Look at this. The weakness that Nasdaq had here has been checked. Remember a couple days ago we were talking about this. This has been checked out. This also, the weakness that we have yesterday has been corrected. Now, again, if there is no upside here, this will look like a very truncated profile here, value just adding on top of this. But if it fails to have upside continuation, man, I got to be very careful here. The Russell also has checked this weakness. Now there is this Dow here doesn't look good. No, it is a retracing. This would be, I think, looks like. Fortunately, I don't trade this market here, but this could be a good area for a long here on in the Dow. If this area is closed, that's an out. Because it is the risk is minimum here, right? From what it is now, 10 to 94, that's 14 points now. That is going higher, right? But here is really close. Now, and the potential for this trade is significant. It can come all the way back up to the 200, almost the 300, maybe taking all these things out, right? If this side is, if this one is taking out, it will take out, probably can have some kind of spike here to the upside. As you can see, it's really hard, right? It's really hard to take a trade like this when you see the market going lower, okay? It's right there. Okay, that's an out, for example, right? That's an out. So nothing is free in this business. You always have to risk something. There was something here, and this is just an example, okay? This is how I can measure risk, right? So now this hasn't worked. For example, I didn't take anything here. I was just trying to give an example here. I didn't take anything here, but that's how I measure risk and rewards. The ratio, it was really, really big. Well, you can imagine this. This is how much? This will be 1 to 20. It's significant there. Really significant there. That was a mental trade. Another thing that I did yesterday, I was checking chat with traders. I really wanna hear. I wanna hear Dante, this guy here, because I was reading, or rather listening, to Stephen Golden and from his book Mastering the Mental Game of Trading, and then he makes a reference. He makes a reference in that book to Trader Dante. It is really nice. If you wanna, I listened to this podcast, this episode, for maybe like 5 times yesterday, because that's how I like it. And if you wanna have an idea that what trading is about, you will have a really good, nice explanation, or some of the questions may be answered if you listen to this episode. I may be almost sure, good probabilities, high probabilities, that you may find some answers, some part of the podcast very disappointing. Also, because he speaks with the truth. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. But at the same time, it is nice. He's nice to hear. You can hear it, and I think you can take it. And he say it as it is. That's what I like it from here. And this podcast is really nice, man. Really nice. They have several interviews to market wizards. I guess they have like 3 or 4 market wizards. They have multiple podcasts with Brett Steenbarger as well. You know, it's a good thing, right? To kill time when you are trading, because most of the time in trading is spent in spent in waiting. I am really, I am starting to pay attention to Nasdaq as well. I mean, I always do, but now with potentially trying to do something here in this market. Notice how this market, how Nasdaq, if I want to see an expanded profile in Nasdaq, I just look here. The red line that I have here is the beginning of the session. There's a white line that will tell where the overnight starts or where the regular trading hours ends, right? I am checking here. This has good volume. Some volume coming below yesterday's low, right? The high hasn't been taken. The fact that the market has come back are almost taking. Notice this here. Okay. In Nasdaq right now I see selling. Okay, I see traders trading that is selling that market, but that are not having success. It is true that has taken yesterday's range, but has retraced too much into the range, and for me at least the selling remains weak here. Now in Nasdaq, come on man, how can I do this? All right. Okay, now let me remove this. Let me expand this a little bit so I can. Oh, come on, man. Really? Okay. Notice this high. I don't know how many days this range consists of, but notice this. Right now, I'm checking this high here. Okay. Has looked, this is dangerous here. Has looked inside this range. No, it's not having acceptance above here. It's rather, it's coming back to check again, right? Coming back to check. This could be very misleading here. No, this could be very misleading because the continuation of this movement will see the market, which is also the breakout of this inside bar. We see the market taking the 2-day range low out and closing the gap. That would be thing. We have lower volume, slightly lower Nasdaq and the market overall. I mean ES and market overall. I think. I'm curious, man. Let's check Nasdaq. How much volume Nasdaq is having here? Hold on. Chart. Let's duplicate this chart. Let's put it here on the side. And let's change chart settings. Let's change it to Nasdaq here. And Q. Apply all. Okay. Look at that. Look at this. We have higher volume in Nasdaq. Well, I mean, relative to yesterday, this it's not that much. It's not that significant. But look at that, right? Look at that. This is selling, but the volume is not coming. To be of significance, for me at least, now that I am observing this market, and this is reinforced my view to the upside, the long case here, right? This volume here would have to be way higher. Kind of look around here, that would be like 15-20% higher, maybe like 20% higher, 20-30% higher relative to yesterday or to these 2 days, right? It's not reaching, it's not in the range of this one, but it's increasing. Okay, it's increasing, but it's not, man, I don't know if you can understand, it's not showing it, right? It's a toss here. I wonder if this range, now I am starting to wonder if these ranges that we are seeing here are going to keep building up. Or will keep accumulating value before Tesla and or before next week's earnings. Next week is going to be packed, man, really packed. Do we have what else do we have next week? Let me check the economic calendar. Next week. Yes. The 29th. Look at that. The 29th we have the Fed interest rate decision. On Wednesday, I will have, oh boy, man, next week is going to be, it seems like it is going to be wild, man. Look at this. We have Chairman Powell press conference on Wednesday. You know, at this we have core PCE. I don't know if this number is going to be. If we are going to see this number here, PCE, because of the shutdown. This is next week. We have CPI by as far as I know, we will have CPI. Next week is going to be packed, man, really packed. It's going to be an interesting week to watch, a really interesting week to watch. There can be something there. And what we can see, and this is the thing, right, about FOMO, right? If we don't have perspective, if we are just watching, looking, something like this, for example. Let me see. We might be doing something like this. Let me. This. Oh, okay. The market is going up, down. No, now we're shorting. Now it's going hard. Now it's shorting. Now we have support here. Now we have support here. This is where the market is going to rebound the next time. Another group of traders see this as now it's going lower down. Oh, okay, this is just, we're hyper focused on something like this, and it's even worse if we have stuff like this, right? Oh man, to the variation that we have here, now we have colors. Now this is bullish, this is red, this is bullish, this is an engulfing bar, has broken to the downside. Now we have this market is going to go lower because this low is green, or it is going to be falling here because this is a double top here, or blah 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 blah, right? There's nothing here. Right? The anxiety here can be huge. And before anything happens, we can find ourselves trading back and forth here in this kind of markets. And at the end of the day, we can be exhausted, right? There was a time when I was on this chat rooms, right? Full of this kind of people, right? Proudly presenting profits or P&Ls. They make when they have a screenshot that make $500. You don't even know if that's real or it's a demo account or one of these trading prop firms, right? But along with that, you could see the amount of trades these guys took, and some of them were really unbelievable high. No, 800 trades, 900 trades. Wow, that is really huge. Can you imagine the commissions of trading, of somebody trading like that? 900 trades. That's like about $5,000 in commission. Unless it is a prop firm, unless it's a demo account in which you actually don't pay, because what you are risking there is just the cost of the tryout, right? I don't know how. I guess at the time it was $100, 150, something like that. If and that can be very misleading, and also can be very damaging to our mental health, because it does not, for me, it's not real. But unless you have something on the line, even if it's in a small account, I think that's better. Right? People misunderstand this business and think that I am going to trade only one lot, right? Only one lot, one mini. But one mini is, the leverage that we have in one contract is huge, huge. Really, people don't. What people see is just the potential upside. When things go right, when trades go the right way, are going to be making hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars in one day. They don't see, or they refuse to see the downside. You can lose, the losses can accumulate really fast as well. Really fast. And the odds that happen is even higher when you don't have an idea what you are doing. The fact that we can open an account doesn't mean we don't know how to trade. Alright. Now we have another, right? We have this thing from yesterday. I call it very questionable here because it was support. Now has been pushed lower. Still, this is not good to me. This low is not good. This is the thing of this kind of lows, okay? If there is the upside of this kind of lows is severely limited, right? Probabilistically thinking, right? The upside is limited when the market leaves this kind of lows behind. Alright, this is just to have an idea. This is the daily. Notice we have two periods here, right? Two periods already. The accumulated volume, 12,000 here in this area, right where POC is, hold back. On previous days, I don't know if you remember, on some days, we have that the same amount of volume, but only in one period. That this speaks to me about the uncertainty, right, and the lack of conviction, still, right, that we are seeing here. There's just nothing going on for me, at least. I don't know if you have done anything here. I have talked about my biases, right? I talk about my leaning. I am actually seeing signs of strain in this market, but also at the same time, I am seeing here, right? Let me highlight this line width. Let's make it bigger. This one. Dash. Okay, this is for me. It's support. It is trading between these two. Let me check the down here, so I can explain this, right? Because it happens that we have seen some odds here, for example, right? In a potential trade to the upside here, right? Potential trade to the upside here, if this distribution was not closed, it's very with a significant reward relative to the risk that we have taken. This one didn't pan out. Now, again, this was a mental trade. The fact that the market can take this one now after this has been, it doesn't mean, right? It doesn't make my setup right. This is where I have to be able to reset, to do reset. You know, that was a mental trade. If that was real, for example, I would have taken a loss here. Have to be able to move on, leave that behind, and keep observing the market, right? And it's going to be hard to not feel regret here. Oh, I should have kept this, and I should have seen this, for example, maybe this low here as my stop here. And next time I'm going to do that, and I will see huge returns, right? But when you do that, you know, the next thing you see is the market going to that direction. And instead of losing this one here, you end up losing like 4, for example, right? Instead of 1. Now, how do I relate to what is happening here, right? We got this high here. This is a range, right? I would say this is a high range, but it is right trading in this area where the market is right now would be the equivalent of trading, for this example, for this little example, the trading here, trading in this area here, I know here, because there's nothing here, nothing there. I see no signs, nothing. At least when the market came down here, because of the bias that I have here, this has been repaired. This one has been repaired. There's potential to the upside here. I was leaning to the upside. So okay, there's something here, especially because I haven't seen acceptance, of follow through or trading in sympathy with Netflix by the other big techs, by any of them. And as a matter of fact, a couple of them are actually rallying in the opposite, rallying high, really have strong rallies. I think those were Microsoft and Nvidia, right? So there is no sympathy here for Netflix. None of them are doing that, It doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It can happen. When it happens, if it happens, it can happen really fast. Because remember, we have a lot of things coming next week. Next week is going to be packed, packed with news. We haven't had news in the past 3-4 weeks. I don't know how long this shutdown has been in place, 2-3 weeks, something like that. Right? We haven't had news. We haven't had CPI, I believe. We haven't had non-farm payrolls. We haven't had I don't know. Can't recall now, but we haven't had news, and the market seems to be now very anxious to have anything, right? There's a lot of uncertainty here. One of the things that I observe as well, and the risk is already in the market, has been already priced in. Yeah, the past week VIX was really high, which is a sign there was a lot of hedging that was going on, right? And now this market can fall. Basically, what that is for me, at least, basically that's what I mean. This market can fall now, and it's not going to damage the big hedge funds or the big participants, the participants that have significant capital invested in this market, because the hedging has been in the high side. Now, take whatever I say with a grain of salt. There's no way for me, for example, there's no way for me to know exactly what's happening, and for that matter, for anyone. There's some sign of weakness here, the Dow here, double lows here, not good. The Nasdaq, as you can see, the Nasdaq is an inside bar here. Surprisingly, the Nasdaq is an inside bar. Nasdaq is the only one that is holding this market right now, because the ES already has an auction to the downside, still inside previous day range. The Russell has corrected this low. Notice where it was bought right there. It's not good now. We have a better low. This one is history. I can say this one is history now. There is significant downside below this reference. I would not say the same. I can't say the same about Nasdaq. It has potential to the downside here. All right. And this patience here, right? Patience in this business is really important. Now there's another attempt on this market, on Nasdaq, to sell, but notice where it's coming from. It is taking again the low of the previous day, so there is a breakout to the inside day, the breakouts to the downside. Okay, but it's just not having it, man. It's just not finding sellers. Oh, this guy here, one of the last interviews that these guys have had, home videos. This guy is a scalper. A scalper is crazy. I mean, it is all relative, right? He has found his edge. Again, I think it is, in my opinion, the edge in this business, the edge in trading is, from my point of view, is the trader. It doesn't matter how good the strategy is, but if the trader has not or doesn't have the skills to put the plan, or to execute the plan, or to follow the plan, it's just worthless. Right? He's a scalper. Oh, look at that, man. Look at that. Look at that selling there. I was this guy Chris Belmont also. He has a really good interview there. All right. Now the same kind of now this market is to the downside, right? Has taken the low. The same phenomena is happening. The same thing that happened in the Dow. Remember when we see this low as a potential entry, closing this distribution as a potential entry, because the S&P moves, kind of very similar, or the Dow moves very similar to the ES. Sometimes we find the ES following the Dow, or other days is going to be the opposite. This one has been corrected now. And that's my opinion. And now this one here has been corrected. Remove. First was fast Russell, then was the ES here. Now look at what we have here. My bad. No, actually this was Nasdaq. Nasdaq has corrected that weakness that we have here. Next thing, next marketing line or line up to do the same is the ES. Will it do it? Okay. Okay. Oh, look at this. This high has been taken. Hasn't reached the reference. After the breakout, the market hasn't reached the reference. This is a reference that everybody can see here. And look at where this breakout is happening here. Right, just before the next period here. Right there you have it. Notice the behavior, okay? The behavior. Market retraces a good amount, has retraced a good amount of previous bar range. It can do the same. Now we have a directional move. Value is to the downside. It's just failed. It's failed to reach the, once this breakout has happened, this is the 5-day range line, isn't it? Oh no, it's up here. This one. What the hell? Oh my bad. Okay, 3. It's aiming to close this gap here. Let's see if this market can close this gap here. And the next reference in the lower side is this one. I don't have anything here, my friend. I do not have anything here. It's finding support around the 2500, 21,100. Or resistance, call it whatever you want to call it. $67.10. How much are those? 67.10, 11 points. Wow, that's too much, man. 67.10 is the close of this gap. This is not a significant reference anymore. Notice how this, the weakness that we have here from this overnight, and all of these lows here are underwater now. This low here has been corrected. Okay, this low has been corrected. This distribution has been closed here. This low has been taken. Now, the natural reference in the lower side to look for downside continuation would be this one, which has been reached. Right, has been reached here. Right half into this gap here. For Nasdaq, the potential, there is a weakness. This high is gone here. We have weakness. The weakness that we have, that I have just checked here in the ES, in the lower side. Nasdaq has it down here, inside this range. There's a significant downside that market needs to have to correct that. The main thing for me right now is the breakout of this 5-day range and the fail to take the all-time high. Okay, failing to take the all-time high after the breakout, because everybody can see that, but there's not just enough buying here, and in my opinion there were not enough sellers as well for the market to keep going low. Market has reached into this range here, right? But the further in time the market is from certain price, for this reference, for example, the less validity, the less value it has. Value lower. Are we going to have a trending day? Notice what happened here, huh? This market is just back and forth here. Opens and shoots way out, short covering. Opens and shoots way down, long liquidation. Same way, right? We have a distribution. It forms a distribution. Now this market is formed, or is leaving a distribution up here. Can we have a sideways trading here? Maybe, being the potential downside or the ultimate destination, closing the gap. The weakness that we have here, down here, we have this can be of significance as well. Because we have the 6,600, 6,700, and here is the 25,000. In Nasdaq we have the 25,000, along with the distribution closed, right? Keeping this level, if this level is, if this market fails to close this one, man. But, or rather than failing to close, I would say, if there is a rejection of lower prices when the market comes down here, All right. If there's a rejection here, we can see a significant upside. But I am still have the scenario that I talked about yesterday. You know, the all-time has been so close. All-time has to be so close, very close. But coming into this day, there is something that I watched it, right, and that I realized just last night. That is that this market is breaking out of the 5-day range and has a significant reference in the upper side. Everybody can see that's a very, very prominent reference in the upper side, which is the all-time high. And if the market has a breakout and fails to have upside continuation, or fails to have upside continuation towards that significant reference, okay, the next thing that can happen is there's a retracement. There's a liquidation. There can be a liquidation of that inventory. Short-term trading, really short-term trading. I am just observing this. As I say, I am not ashamed to change my mind, and it is really important to have more than one scenario in your mind to at least know what to do, right? Or how to react, to have something to where you can fall back into if the things don't play or don't unfold the way you thought they were. Now, check this out, man. Check this out. What the scenario that I have described for the market, for the ES, notice just for these 2 days, right? Yesterday and today, there's a significant reference here, right? Closing this distribution, right? Markets close the distribution. The next obvious one, everybody can see this, okay? Everybody can see this, is this one. You can call it this one, or maybe even now, since I assign a range in the upper side, maybe even this whole range down here, right, as a reference in the lower side. If this market fails to take this one out, or to trade towards this one, okay, then the opposite side of this range, of the same range, becomes the potential destination, okay, of this movement. After all, this market in particular, it is still an inside day. Downside day in the Russell, downside day in the ES, and downside day in Nasdaq. Nasdaq has already taken 2 days, the 2-day range out. The next thing for Nasdaq, is the gap. Okay, the next reference in Nasdaq is the gap, closing the gap here, closing this gap. Yes, it's still far from this. The signs of weakness in these days. But one step at a time. Very similar volume to yesterday. Man, this is increasing here. We are almost half. Oh, and this is another thing, okay? So this can be here actually. Maybe even more. One of the things I have noticed, I hope you have noticed that as well. The bigger volume, like for example right now, right? This seems the projection for the current period and volume is an increase relative to B. These increases of volumes, these significant increases in volumes, have been coming when we have a direction. We have a direction to the downside. When we have downside, whatever the profile was at the end of the day, whatever shape it had, whatever direction it had, it was either it was rotation, it was trending or whatever. The biggest volumes during those days when we had this kind of nuances was when it was trading lower, like it is the case right now. Previous period, the one that has a bigger range, it didn't have that much. The 6710 hasn't increased that much, man. It went from 10 something to 12. Man, that's only 2 points, man. That's why I say that the risk is already priced in here. Now the market has dropped like 20 points on those options that are tomorrow have only gained 2 points. Let's see if this market can take this low out. The gap has been closed in Nasdaq. Now NASA can go higher now. The thing is can the ES follow through here? The Dow is trying to reach the opposite side of that little distribution. I am long a single contract here. I mean a long put here right now. Oh, look at this. This often is a time, you know. Look at where this low is. Not the low is, but where halfback, the current halfback. This one. Oh boy, man. Oh boy, god damn. This is not good for me. This is not good for me. I've seen so many times this algorithmic trading moving this reference right to this halfback, for example, right to this. We can see some sideways trading here. You got 10,000 here. $11 here, 10,000 here. This is not looking good for me. What I'm playing here is the ES attempting to close its gap as well. Or at least reaching the lower side of yesterday, or what is that, Monday? But I think it cannot do it by itself. It needs Nasdaq as well. As you can see, Nasdaq has already come back inside the 2-day range, which is not a good sign. Because the next thing, Nasdaq is coming back inside inside yesterday's range. First closing this distribution, and next thing coming back inside this range. I'm still holding that long here. Seems like I might take a loss here. Oh, look at this. 53, what is 53? Right here, what is right now? Let's here, and then we have downside here, we have volume here. 42, right here. This may still have some downside here. Let's see. And now trade your market. Whatever market you are trading, trade your market. I don't trade your market based on what is in another market. I am not trading a bubble, but I'm not oblivious to what's happening in other markets either. I am underwater here like for 2 points. Let's see how this market plays. Alright, I have closed for a loss here because I don't like the fact that the market has reached hard back, and also that has reached the previous range, which in fact targets the opposite side. There's also some positive news here coming from Google. Some quantum computing breakout, which is not good, right? And also the auction to the downside has ended here. We now have an upside. This distribution has been closed, so there's a lot of positive signs that there's a lot of signs here that plays against the trade I was playing. So I took a loss, like almost 3 points there. That is what it is. That's how it is. Value is lower, so be aware of that. There's a rotation in this market. The only one that is not showing rotation is the rules. Now, the next obvious reference here, now, if there is something of relevance that can happen here to the upside, the obvious sign is the high of the 5-day range. That the market has to take. If there is some upside continuation to whatever the action, the current action, whatever the current action is right now, this is the obvious reference in the upper side. Now we have this auction, the unfinished auction here has been completed, which leaves this one in the upper side, but we have a tone now to the downside. You know, it hasn't changed. The type of days haven't changed relative to the previous days, meaning that, you know, there is this basically short-term trading here, momentum trading going on here. The next big volumes that we have are up here. All right. Unless you have any questions here or comments, I am going to call it a day, and I wish you have a wonderful rest of the day. I will keep watching this market. I took my loss here. Now I am monitoring this auction here. It is have upside, or it is some sort of the next thing for here, for example, to put these two markets in sync. This gap has been closed, right? This gap has been closed, so this market now has some excuse to to go higher here. Potentially this upside here. Now, but the next thing here, it has taken the 5-day range high back. All right. The next thing is coming back inside this range. That will be following for monitoring for continuation in this market. Remember, there was a big retracement of this range here, of A. This market came back almost 60-70% of that range. The Nasdaq almost more than 90%, or I would say 90% of that range. And now we have a rotation here. The biggest volume has come when the market was going lower down here. Significant volume here, which is a pattern that is repeating. But what I haven't seen, or at least I haven't seen so far, is that volume has continuation, right? Has continuation. There is some sort of selling that comes, and huge selling that comes, and that stops. Right? It doesn't have follow through. Is that going to be the case today? Who knows? I have no idea. All right. Okay, man. Have a wonderful rest of the day. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the evening, and have a great day. See you.